have a child with a woman, even if you have to leave that woman, you don't leave the child.
Right.
You let that child know, you try to work it out. You're going to be respectful to her. If you're going to be respectful to other things, you show that to your child.
So that is Herschel Walker saying what many Republicans will say. No matter what, you have to maintain a relationship with your child. You have to teach them, provide an example for them, show respect to the mom, show respect to other things. He couldn't think of a second example, but whatever. And he's been consistent on that for literally years. He's been talking about the need for there to be better fathers. He said at one point back in 2020, I want to apologize to the African-American community because the fatherless home is a major, major problem. He added that he had been like a father to some of the kids that had never had fathers. So I don't understand the apology part of that. The apology is that he's criticizing the community and then saying he's such a good dad that he's dad for even people he's not the dad of, I guess. Back in 2017, he talked about how good of a relationship he has with his son, Christian, saying if you got a child, hug your child every day, which is a message that I love. In a presidential fitness panel appearance 1 year later, he said that while parental involvement is very, very important, so was adults getting involved with kids because some kids do not have a parent, a mother, or a father. So definitely be a good parent to your kids. In fact, to be parents to other kids too. Not if you're a teacher though, that's super sus these days. He wouldn't like that. So have you guessed where this is going? To hypocrisy, of course it has to. He's a Republican. According to reporting by the Daily Beast, what he hasn't publicly acknowledged is that he has a second son who has apparently been estranged from him since his birth a decade ago. He grew up 1,500 miles away. Most importantly though, the mother, whose name is being hidden for privacy reasons, which seems eminently reasonable, had to take Walker to court a year after giving birth in order to secure a declaration of paternity and child support. They've confirmed these events through public posts, a court document where Walker is declared to be the child's father, and a person close to the boy's family with direct knowledge of the event. So they say that while Walker sends Christmas and birthday presents, he otherwise has not played an active parental role in raising his second son. The child has also not met or spoken with his half-brother Christian. And so, look, families are complicated. And I don't believe that we should necessarily judge other people's families. I don't really feel comfortable judging my own family. The whole thing's a big mess. But I also don't necessarily go around moralizing about the failures, not just of individual people, but like the entire African-American community, while I'm not practicing what I almost literally preach. I don't know, JR, what do you think?
Weird how that works. You can say a bunch of things, act like you're holier than thou. And then when people discover, which isn't that hard to do apparently, that you're not living the life that you're lecturing everyone else about, it might take away from this moralizing approach and speech that you have. Again, we talked before about Lauren Boebert and how the reasons behind the issues with her is her principles. And then what it is and her reasons for her decisions later, once she's in office. So again, Herschel Walker's running for office. Even if he's not, I don't think anyone should really care about his other kid. And we actually probably wouldn't even be talking about it until he starts wagging his finger at other folks and be like, you know what, you guys aren't moral like the Republican Party. It is the Republican Party who likes to say that Democrats are always trying to lecture you and tell you how to be a better person when actually they're no longer any of that. In many cases, I see a lot of libs and Dems talking about ways that we let people live. And if you have some kind of issue, if your kid's being hurt or something, yeah, go to court. Those are processes that we go through to make sure that you do things the right way. When it comes to judging people and we haven't been in their shoes, we haven't seen what they're up to, that's a Republican thing, 101. When it comes to harming others, that's when you've got a lot of libs talking about, hey, maybe we should keep you from hurting others. In reality, what they want to do is just tell you how to be and what's basically comfortable for them, that they absolutely have no intention of following themselves. It goes from women's rights to economic issues, who gets tax breaks, all those types of things only goes to the right folks that are associated with them. Everyone else can just, kick rocks.
Yeah. Before we get to speculation about what effect this might have, we do have to acknowledge that aides to Herschel Walker declined to comment just yesterday, but they did write a written statement from his campaign manager who said this, and I love this response. It's one of the classic ways to respond to a scandal like this. So he says, Herschel had a child years ago when he wasn't married. He's supported the child and continues to do so. No acknowledgement of the fact that he had to be dragged to court to do that, but whatever. He's proud of his children. To suggest that Herschel is hiding the child because he hasn't used him in his political campaign is offensive and absurd. That's not what people's concern is. What are you talking about? No, but don't you love that? You have no defense for the thing, so you just defend against an attack that doesn't exist. Like, it's like if like your wife accuses you of cheating and you're like, for you to stand there and say that I'm developing weapons of mass destruction is despicable. How could you say that to me? No, I refuse to talk about this anymore. Go to your room. Okay, I get that that's more convenient and it might be funny in the moment, but it has nothing to do with the concern. The concern is that you're not living the life that you are using hypothetically to attack other people. It's not that you didn't put him in your campaign ads. Who the hell cares about that? It's that you had to be dragged to court to do the thing that you're telling people that other people need to do. And by the way, going along and saying that you're this amazing father to tons of people that you barely know. So that's the issue. It's the hypocrisy. It's the using it pragmatically for your own purposes when you don't actually live it as your life.
And if you're willing to use it for your own purposes, what kind of policy decisions, what kind of agenda, what kind of legislation are you willing to back up and then support by saying, well, I live this way? They always use their moral standing, which doesn't exist 99% of the time, as a bludgeon on other people to be like, we're passing this law because this is the way Americans should live, like I do. And then they stand behind it as if you can be like me when they're nowhere near the person that they're posing to be. And while they're judging other folks for actually being much better humans than they are. But again, this is the power structure. They can change people's lives based off of the lies of their own. It's disgusting.
100%. Two super quick points. One, if Raphael Warnock, it turned out, had a child out of wedlock, what would the Republicans be saying about him right now? Anyone want to speculate? It'd be disgusting, I know that.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.